Hi everyone, I'm Mia. Metabones lens adapters and Speedboosters are active lens mounts that give you the freedom to use high-end glass on just about any camera body. These adapters allow the camera to communicate electronically with compatible lenses so you can control some of the settings from the camera body. The latest releases from Metabones are for adapting EF mount lenses, so if you love working with Canon glass, then this is great news. In this video, we're going to go over some basic information about Metabones adapters. Then we'll take a look at the EF to Sony E-mount adapter and the EF to Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera Speedbooster. Now, adapters and Speedboosters are two different things. The adapter just allows you to mount an EF lens, and it supports things like EXIF data, electronic aperture control, and autofocus when using Canon lenses. The Speedbooster works as an adapter, but also allows more light into the sensor, giving you an extra 1 2/3 stops, and it increases your angle of view, lessening the crop factor that you'd get with some crop sensor cameras. As I go over the two Metabones products we have, keep in mind that it takes a little patience to work with these adapters. Some lenses work flawlessly with them, and others have had some trouble with autofocus or image stabilization. Metabones has a list of tested lenses on their website. Many times turning the camera off and reseating the adapter and lens can clear up any issues. The footage that you're able to get with superior optics may make it worth any extra effort. Let's start with the Metabones Canon EF to Sony E-mount adapter Mark IV. As the name suggests, it lets you put EF mount lenses onto Sony E-mount cameras. The Mark IV is an update to the Mark III. Metabones says it offers better performance and an improved internal structure. I'll start with the structure. Its overall build is solid. It fits securely to the camera and the lens. It won't wiggle, and it just really looks like part of the lens. Embedded in the adapter is a micro USB port, making it easy to update the firmware yourself. And you'll find a foot on the bottom with a tripod socket to help support and balance heavy lenses. There's also a small button on the bottom of the adapter. That's the wide open button, and when you press it, the aperture opens to its widest point. Doing this makes it really easy to get focus, and when you release it, the aperture returns to your original setting. We're testing this EF to E-mount adapter on a Sony a6000, which has an APS-C sensor, but the adapter will also work with full-frame E-mount cameras like the ones in Sony's A7 line. As I mentioned earlier, this is a smart adapter. It maintains electronic communication between the camera and the lens. This allows you to control aperture from the camera body, get EXIF data, plus take advantage of image stabilization and autofocus. I will say that I found the autofocus a bit frustrating. First off, it's slow, and it doesn't always focus in the correct spot. In tests with a Canon EF 14mm f2.8L 2 USM and a Canon EF 24-105mm f4L IS USM lens, I had to give the camera 2 or 3 seconds to find focus. And I was much more successful at getting the correct focus in bright light than in dimmer conditions, especially if you're working close to your subject. In fact, I couldn't even get it to lock focus until I was at a minimum distance of 15 inches away in typical fluorescent office lighting. If you're tracking a moving subject like someone playing a sport, the autofocus really isn't reliable. Sometimes it locked in, sometimes it didn't. Also, even though the adapter will work with most third-party EF lenses, including Sigma and Tamron glass, autofocus will not. And if you're working with non-Canon EF mount lenses in general, then there's a certain protocol for attaching the lenses in order for it to work correctly, so look to the Metabones website for help there. Also know that as these issues arise, Metabones is updating its firmware to help mitigate some of them, so it's always good to look for updates. Now, that was just the EF lens mount adapter. Let's look at Metabones' new EF mount to Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera Speedbooster. The Pocket Cinema is capable of capturing extraordinary footage. If you use the Metabones EF mount Speedbooster to attach some nice Canon glass, the results are beautiful. The Speedbooster is especially helpful in low light because it delivers an extra 1 2/3 stops of light. That means you can get some really stunning footage even when the lighting's not ideal. The Speedbooster uses custom optics to increase the lens's angle of view and its effective maximum aperture. So if you have a Canon f1.2 lens, you'll get the equivalent of an f.74. This is what footage looks like from a 24-105 f4 in a situation where lighting's definitely not great. So this is wide open on this lens. Now add the Speedbooster and look how far we can push it, to f2.4, and the footage is actually bright enough that it looks really good. One little detail here that might be confusing: if you're using a lens faster than f1.8, then the reading on the bottom strip of the LCD will only read the maximum aperture that's written on the lens, even though it will shoot 1 2/3 stops brighter than that. So with fast lenses, you won't see the correct f-stop displayed on the screen, but you will definitely see the difference in the image and footage. The Speedbooster also gives you a little more real estate to work with. It makes the lens 0.5x wider, which cuts the Pocket Cinema camera's significant 3x crop factor down to 1.75x. Now this one does not offer any autofocus function, but it does let the camera fully control the aperture, which Blackmagic refers to as the iris, and the lens's image stabilization function works with no problems. The iris or f-stop is controlled with the up and down arrows on the back keypad. It snaps smoothly and firmly onto the Pocket Cinema's body, and it has its own mounting collar that helps lessen the stress on the camera's collar. It will also work with Sigma, Tamron, and Tokina lenses that have the Canon EF mount. Metabones makes several other speed boosters and adapters for specific camera body and lens combinations, so if you have a different camera, you should check them out. I'm Mia McCormick. Thanks for watching.
Whether you're a hobbyist or a professional, B&H has the answers to your questions. Experience a world of technology at our New York City Superstore. Connect with us online or give us a call. Our staff of experts is happy to help.
Scott Kelby here, and welcome to this quick tour of our online training. We have hundreds of online classes for you, covering everything from lighting to landscape photography. From portrait photography to sports, we have classes on wedding, automotive photography, shooting, food, fashion, travel, you name it. The most incredible part of this is the price. You get all of this for just $199 a year, or you can pay monthly for just $24.95. 24-hour a day, 7-day a week access from anywhere in the world. I invite you to join with us today and start learning right now.